beginning when you're going into the scholarship program and you're coming out of high school, you're just like, what do these people want? Like, I have parents, so stop bothering me. And you look at your phone and you're like, oh, it's Jermaine again. I'm just like, and so I can agree and say that it really is out of love and support and success, and it's really about, holding you accountable.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Jermaine Jones, Chief Career Navigation Officer with Boys and Girls Club of the Midlands. This is the Scholarship Program podcast called Trust the Process. Today we have two very special guests, two individuals that I've known for quite a while, and obviously club alums. So we're going to go right into it and have them introduce themselves. We'll start with Ms. Des. Where are you from? What club is you in? And what are you doing right now?
Hi, my name is Desiree, and I am from Council Bluffs, and I attended the Council Bluffs Club, and I'm currently finishing up my undergrad in public health.
All right, Mr. Charlie.
My name is Charlie Clapp. I am a junior nursing student at Kearney University. I'll be a senior in a week, and I attended the Carter Lake Boys and Girls Club growing up.
How long do you remember?
Like 8-9 years.
It's pretty much your whole life.
Yeah. I did stop going for a little bit, but.
How long do you remember this?
Well, since I started going when I was 10, and then once I hit like high school, middle school, I kind of fell off a little bit because I was really active in sports, and I was kind of forced to go, so I kind of found some other activities, but pretty much I started when I was 10, and then I kept going, but just not as much as I did when I was younger.
Yeah, so I think what you experienced in high school is something that a lot of our high school members tend to go through. I know, Charlie, you were super busy with school and doing different activities. I think both of you guys kind of experienced that, but as you guys get older, it's a little less involvement with the clubs, but the important thing is keeping your membership active and still coming when you can. So it keeps you guys eligible to apply for the scholarship program. So today, because I know you guys so well, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it. Now, this one seems like you've been in school forever. You have a very unique pathway of how you got here, but a very successful pathway, long but successful. So take us through that entire journey from where you started at right after high school that led you up to being a few weeks away, well, actually a couple weeks away from graduation now.
Yeah, so I graduated in 2015, and I remember them telling me about scholarship opportunities with the Boys and Girls Club, and Jermaine and a few other administrative people came in, and you guys kind of did the beginning interview thing, and I was trying to figure out where I was going to go, and I kind of landed at UNO, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I assumed I wanted to go into athletic training, being an athlete most of my life. That was kind of like where I kind of landed, and then I got about a year in, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. And so I remember reaching out and like, I think I'm switching my major, and my classes are going to transfer over. And so then I went into exercise science, and I did a year in that, and I was like, this isn't it. And so it was kind of just this battle of figuring out what I wanted to do. And then I left UNO, and I went into Metro's program for medical office, and that was a home hitter for me. I love the medical field, and just being able to help people has always been a part of my life. And just, my mom has that medical background, and so I think it's just kind of something that I've seen. And then now here I am a few weeks away, and I decided to go into public health. I did go back to UNO, but I just love being able to be in that degree that's kind of a widespread, and here I am 2 weeks away.
Yes, and you also kind of flirted with education as a major at one point.
Yeah, I did. I thought I was gonna do that. I worked with kids actually right shortly after graduating. I was an employee at Boys and Girls Club, and I just loved being around kids. So I'm like, maybe I wanted to do education. I took a class, and I was like, yeah, no. So it was a lot of trial and error. But I definitely would say I wouldn't do it another way just because my path is unique and I can just, help those that are, coming out of high school and don't know what they're doing and just letting them know it doesn't, because you don't know isn't going to make or break your success. And so that's just my story.
Yeah, I think something that you experience with most students probably would not have done as well is as you're trying to figure things out, you still did very well in your classes.
I did.
And I think some students lose interest. They say, well, I'm an education major now. I'm gonna take these intro to education classes. Nope, I don't like it. And they give up on the class. But yet you still gotten A's and high B's, mostly A's all the way through. But then at the end of the semester say, you know what? I didn't really enjoy that as much as I did. I got my A, that's good. But I'm going to switch my major to something else.
Yes.
But so I commend you on that.
Thank you.
Charlie, your path. Correlate,
Yeah.
high academic performance student in high school, and then how did you find your way to Creighton?
So I graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School, and I had been, since I was way younger, eyeing Creighton as where I wanted to go to college. I considered a few other places, but ultimately ended up going with Creighton because it was like my dream school. I always knew I wanted to be something in the medical field. Growing up, I wanted to be a doctor, but then I guess we'll probably get to that later. So, as I was saying, growing up, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but I ended up applying to Creighton nursing. I got into the nursing program, which is a direct admit program, and that was another big reason that I chose Creighton, so that I didn't have to go to school for 2 years and then reapply to a nursing program that I already was in, basically. But I ended up going to Creighton for nursing, and I've stayed with that same major all the way through, and this time next year I'll be graduating.
Awesome. And again, unique opportunity that you took advantage of. So one of our very, very, very strong scholarship supporters is a big advocate for Creighton University. And you were awarded a little bit of money from Creighton to go to school there. And we were able to match dollar for dollar because of that partnership that we have with Creighton University. How has that been a difference maker for you and your family?
There's not even words for it, to be honest. I would not have been able to go to Creighton if I did not get the Boys and Girls Club Scholarship and get matched with, can I say his name?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. As I was saying, I would not have been able to go to Creighton University if I didn't get this scholarship and be able to have Creighton match with Hyder family with their scholarship. I was eyeing a few other colleges in the local area, but they wouldn't have given me near as much as an advancement opportunity as Creighton, and they wouldn't have been even half as good of schools, to be completely honest, especially for something as serious as nursing. But that scholarship has meant the world to me and my family. We would have went severely in debt to send me to Creighton. And of course that could have been an opportunity that my parents could have done, but that would set me off on the complete wrong foot post-graduation. As we all know, student loans, when you take them out, they're going to compound. Mm-hmm. I would probably be working to pay off my student loans to go to Creighton for the rest of my life as a nurse. So there's really not enough words to talk about what that scholarship has done for me and the doors that it's opened for my future. I'm actually talking with Creighton about grad school now. I cannot thank the Boys and Girls Club or Hyder and his family enough for that opportunity.
Yeah. So let's talk about, childhood a little bit, middle school, because again, both of you guys been with the clubs for a very long time. Both of you also have siblings that were part of the club. Older brother, older sister that was part of the clubs. What was it like growing up in the clubs with your sibling, and what were some of the experiences that you guys had as club members?
You want to go? Okay. Well, I have an older brother. We are about 3 years apart. It was interesting. My brother really admired and cherished the club, and that was kind of his outlet. And me, on the other hand, I was kind of like, I'd rather stay home. And so when you have the club had, the open days for school, I was just like, let's just stay home. We don't have school. We can sleep in. And my brother was like, no, we going to the club. And because he was older than me, he kind of had the last say. And so that was challenging because, he wanted to be there and I didn't. And I think inside the club, the dynamic was a little bit weird. I remember being on the younger members side, and I was just turning a teen, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go to teen center. And they're like, no, you're not. Your brother's over there. And they just didn't want the, catty and sibling kind of thing, because we did have that. Like, I remember walking past the little island there, and any chance I get, I always like mess with him, and he's like, you're so annoying. And so like they just really wanted to keep us separate. But looking back now, I feel like my brother has been kind of my little guru, and I kind of stick to him like glue. I am the youngest, so but I just think that I'm glad now that he was there, because it was kind of a safety net. Just at the time, I think being a kid, you kind of want to have your own autonomy to say what and do what you want, but my brother had that say because he was older. But yeah, I did transition eventually over to the teen side, which I think really helped me, but we just kind of clashed a lot, but I guess that's really it.
It's cool. How about you, Charlie?
It's kind of like a very similar story to yours, except instead of a brother, it's a sister. My older sister has gone to the club as well, and Carter Lake being such a small town, a lot of my family is from Carter Lake, and so a lot of my nieces and nephews are also pretty involved in the Boys and Girls Club. So I've kind of, growing up, my nieces and nephews were too young to be there at first, but towards my high school experience with the Boys and Girls Club, I would constantly run into my nieces and nephews. They'd come up and hug me. It was actually really cute. And as my sister ended up graduating like 2 years above me, she had obviously phased out of the Boys and Girls Club, but I would have like my nieces and nephews there and just kind of took on a few leadership roles within the club and tried to get my nieces and nephews to be more involved. And now they're entering high school, and I'm constantly telling them, like, keep going, like, don't keep going to the club, apply for that scholarship, like, keep getting all the experiences that you can. So
I'm going to throw you guys on the spot a little bit with family. So your mom was extremely involved early on in the college process, to the point where I even told your mom, like, okay, back off a little bit, let Dad figure some of this stuff out. And then, I don't talk to your family as often, but I know that they're really, really involved. And I have talked to them about, especially like the financial aid process and stuff like that.
Right.
How impactful and, I guess, enlightening it has been for you guys' pathways of having your families involved?
Yeah, so my mom was in the beginning a helicopter parent, and I just think because I was her baby, it's kind of like, a bird having their little last egg in their nest before they hatch. And so she just kind of wanted that, security, like, oh, don't venture off. Because as she knows, I was going to grow and kind of be my own person. And I think as a parent, that's kind of like scary to think like your last one is about to, bloom. And so I think that aspect she was in the beginning, but she did realize that she couldn't be like that because it didn't allow me to grow into my potential with having, her hovering over and letting me step out. But it has been a huge, impactful way of having my mom there, teaching me kind of, the financial aid side of things, in just the college arena sort of area, just having that like support, knowing like, hey, if I need help, like she was there. But in the beginning it was hard because, like you said, she was kind of like over here, and I'd always
Mrs. Jones, I need to talk to you.
I'd always get mad. I'm like, don't call him. Why would you do that? Don't talk to him. But she just, she's just protective, and I feel like that comes in, good flows and bad flows, and it kind of shielded me a little bit in the beginning, but like I said, now I'm kind of my own individual,
Yes.
and she's still there to support, but not like she's not calling you and pinging you and all that stuff. And just a little backstory, I'm just gonna throw this in here. I remember when you guys came, and my mom actually had breast cancer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but that's even how I even really got into it, because I knew going in that my dad had just lost his job, and my mom was sick with breast cancer. And I remember you guys came in and it's like, listen, we can help you get off to college, and so just seeing like when my mom was sick, like she still was trying to support, but then you guys came into play, and so I just want to say I thank you for that. I don't know if I ever told you that or if you even remember, but I do remember. That's kind of how we even connected. I think the unit director at the time had reached out, and with me being a club kid, and so I just want to say thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
That's heartwarming. My family has also been like heavily involved in me going to college. I'm also the youngest. I'm their last baby. My parents, I'm also the first person in my family to go to college, period.
Period.
So, my older sister had like thought about college. She ended up going a different way in life, and she is still very successful. College is not the only route in life. That's a big takeaway. But my parents were like, you're going to college. Like, there's no if, there's no and, like you are going to go. And I even remember when part of the application process for the Boys and Girls Club Scholarship is doing your FAFSA, and they had like a FAFSA night to part of the club. My mom was like, you're going. I have the stuff ready for you. Like, here's our taxes, take it and leave. Like, she was not joking around about it. But I've also been very in my own direction. I've always wanted to go to college, and so I was as involved as my parents were. I was just involved behind the scenes. But I'm very thankful for it. I wouldn't want it to be any other way. I've talked to a few of my friends, and I know a few people from like my hometown who had parents that were not very involved in their college process, and it just makes things really difficult. And I wouldn't want it to be any other way. At some points in time, I was very frustrated with my mom and my dad. I was like, you guys, like, I know the deadlines. I know what I'm doing. You can leave me alone. But looking back, it's all out of love. And it's the same with the scholarship team. When they reach out to you and they're texting you 3 times in a week, it's not because they don't, it's all because they want you to succeed. That's the only reason. And having that support system, it might seem a little bit irritating in the time, but you're going to look back at that one day and be thankful that you have it.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, you had mentioned not so long ago that the texting and stuff. And I think in the beginning, when you're going into the scholarship program and you're coming out of high school, you're just like, what do these people want? Like, I have parents, stop bothering me. And you look at your phone and you're like, oh, it's Jermaine again. I'm just like, and so I can agree and say that it really is out of love and support and success. And it's really about, holding you accountable. And as you said, like if there's, people that are in the program and they don't have their parent support, like being able to lean into the scholarship team and realize like they may not be your blood parents, but at the end of the day, they're gonna be there through the process, regardless what your process looks like. And so I think that is an important thing to mention is like, just because you don't have your mom or dad or grandma, grandpa, you have a scholarship team. And those texts, just think of them as like, oh, they want me to succeed. They're checking in on me. They want to know how I'm doing. Like, don't ignore those things. Like, please.
Yes, respond.
Respond. I'm guilty. I don't respond, but do respond, especially being your first couple years in. Respond because they just want the best for you at the end of the day.
And going off that, I think that there's no other like scholarship program that I can think of where they're going to be as involved with you behind the scenes and with everything that you're going through in life. I know that each semester or every year at least, me and Jermaine have set up like a midterm meeting, and it's literally like it's like therapy. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it really is, and it's so nice. Like like you get on the Zoom, you can just talk about like, how's your semester going? How are your classes going? What are your goals for next semester? Like how have you accomplished your goals from the last semester? And having that, like people that are keeping you accountable for the goals that you're setting and just being there for you, and not only worrying about you and how you're doing in school, but how you're doing like mentally. How's your family doing? Like you're not gonna find that anywhere else. There's just no way.
And realizing that they have a life of their own,
And
they're still reaching out. Like they got kids. I know you have a kid, and just knowing like your kid's about to graduate soon.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like he could be doing that instead of, but he's taking the time to reach out to us, and we're off doing our own lives.
Not replying to
not replying. So I think that's just important to know that they also have a life of their own. They have their own job, their own responsibilities, their own family. And sometimes we don't know what they're going through, but they could be going through something and they still reach out and text us. And so I just think it's important. Please respond.
I can just leave the show. I mean, they don't even need me anymore. But I appreciate those words. Definitely. They mean a lot. And it's not just me that's on the scholarship team, y'all. We got Miss Lily, we got Miss Lupe, we got Super Max. So these are individuals that make up the scholarship team. So it's not a one-man show by any means. And the support for our students is very much needed, but it's also needed for staff. I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, a lot of us go through things as well, but we can't let that cloud what we do with you all. Now, how I'd like to explain this is like an investment. You got to watch your stocks, right? You watch the stock market because that's what I'm investing in. You are our investment. And when the stocks go down, it's like, okay, what I got to do? I got to make some changes. We reach out, hey, everything all right? And then when they go up, we shoot a text out, hey, made Dean's List again. You got this accolade. And so we want to congratulate you guys and support that and celebrate it. So